to sample a whole lot of songs from artists you don't have rights from. How do you get around those copyright laws?
I don't get around it. It's a thing called fair use in the United States copyright law, and it allows you to sample music without asking for permission if it falls under certain criteria. So it's funny. I feel like you know, if you look at the history of sampling, it's like a lot of times people view sampling as like, oh, it's illegal. That's it. You know, you can't sample that without asking for permission. But that's not really the case, and I feel like a lot of people feel that way just because it's a general kind of brainwashing thing by, you know, larger companies, and you hear about Biz Markie, or you hear about Puff Daddy, or you hear about John Oswald, or you hear about Danger Mouse, all these people being sued, and it's like, oh, it's illegal, and that's it. But that's not really the case. It's like you can sample music. It's like everyone samples music. Every musician, there's no true original thoughts in music anymore. It's all based on something. You have to be influenced by something. It has to come from somewhere. So if you actually physically manipulate music, it has to come from somewhere. And if it's transformative, if it's not negatively impacting the sales of the potential artist, if it's used for artistic pursuits outside of like banking in on that artist's music or anything like that, then it's legal. And you know, I believe like my music should be legal. And you know, if you look around YouTube these days, there's a million artists doing this sort of thing. And it's like the idea of remixing or manipulating previously existing media, something that's very widespread. And we're kind of growing up with a generation now who's very used to that, which is different than 10 years ago. It used to be a very radical idea. But a lot of college kids now, people younger than that, grow up with the idea of you can do a remix, and the remix can be better than the original. The remix can have no interference with the sales of the original. So I feel like, you know, so many people are attached to computers, so many people are attached to cell phones, so many people are attached to technology, that the idea that you can manipulate a previously existing piece of media to make something new is not really a foreign idea like it used to be. So that's kind of where I stand on it, and thus far we haven't really been challenged because I think a lot of people see the potential in that. You know, the majority, like 90% of the acapellas, the vocals that I sample, are released in acapella form. They're released on vinyl as vocals, not for people. No one listens to those. You don't throw on like,
for remixing.
You don't. Yeah, you don't throw on the new Ludacris like acapella to listen to it. No one does. I might a little bit, but like people don't really do that. It's put out there for people to remix. It's put out there for people who are using their DJ sets. It's put out for producers to do whatever with. That's been happening since the 80s. That's not a new thing. And it's put out there for a reason. Every single that comes out, every pop single, the instrumental version's put out there because they want people to manipulate it, use it, because they know it's not going to interfere with the sales. It provides a new avenue. It's a whole new song. And, you know, I think with all the new technology, people are just very familiar with that idea. And again, it's just not radical. It's just very common now. So we're kind of at a turning point where I think this idea that it's like, oh, why isn't Girl Talk sued? It's going to seem very silly potentially in 40 years.
So you're obviously pushing the boundaries. Is that why you released your last album and made it a pay what you want album?
No, because I mean, if you paid over $10, we gave you a CD. So that's the equivalent of selling a CD. So I put it out as pay for what you want because that seemed like the most efficient way to release the music, and it seemed like the best way to get it out to media, and it seemed like the best way to get it out to people, anyone who wasn't into it or think they don't like Girl Talk, maybe they could check it out. I just was like, how can we get this out? When you make an album, it's like how many people can hear it. It's very exciting when you release an album. Like how many people can hear this right now? How many people can dive into this? I've worked on this album for 2 years. How many people can hear it today, critique it? How many people can hate it? How many people can love it? So yeah, that's kind of why we did that. Again, it's like, you know, it wasn't, you know, evading any sort of copyright law, because we were giving CDs out to people who paid over $10, which is the same as selling your CD at a record store, selling it online. It just seemed like the most efficient way, and I just wanted to tackle the issue of, you know, majority of people who are connected to computers can get every album for free. It's like if we want to sell a CD for $10, then the moment it's released, the first kid puts it online, and then everyone else can have it for free. And it's like, why wouldn't we play dumb about that? It's like a lot of larger artists, it's like there's a whole chain of command and people that need to follow orders, and you want to fight this or fight that, but it's like, it's not, you know, there's one other person who puts up my album, which is me and him. So with us, it's kind of like, you know, we're not trying to like prove a point. It's like we're just trying to get the music out there. So yeah, when we put it out, it's like I don't want to play dumb to that. Like I know people can get it for free. I'm trying to make a point in being like, I know you can get it for free. Take it for free. People downloading my album for free has made me be able to make a living off of the music. It's made me be able to tour for a living. It's like I could not play Rochester Institute of Technology and have 1,700 people come out of it if like the internet didn't exist.
Is that why you call it Feed the Animals? Like,
it was kind of like, you know, feeding that audience, absolutely, you know, but it was like, you know, if the internet didn't exist, there'd be, you know, 50 to 75 people at the show, just like that's the way it was with 10 years ago, like a lot of artists I looked up to. So it's like, I love people downloading my album for free, and it's great, and it makes me make a living, it makes a lot of artists make a living. But simultaneously, it's kind of like I just want to, simultaneously, I love people who pay for money. Like I pay for money, I pay for albums. Like I buy a lot of albums. And I think that's the way it should be. I think music does definitely have a value. So